Well, good afternoon, YTPC. This is Dave coming to you from the paddock in Southern Maryland. It's about 12:30 on Saturday, January 13th. Well, we survived another storm overnight. They say it was windy, rainy, wet. And today we're back. It's 50, 55 degrees out there. There's a bit of a breeze blowing and we got some weather coming in. But for some reason, Southern Maryland, and maybe the mid-Atlantic region, is the storms are hitting us like everybody else, but it's it's happening in a temperature that it's just a rainy, windy day. So I guess we count our blessings for that. If I want snow, I'll go to Wyoming. Hey guys, several of you reminded me I've been talking about doing a truck vid, so I'm gonna the next thing I'm gonna do is stop this. And I did a truck vid, so I'm gonna stick it right here, and then we'll come back and talk about the next thing. All right, guys. Several of you reminded me in the last few days that I promised to do a kind of a vid on my truck. So this is my big truck. This is a 2018 Ford F-250. I'll show you too. So I've got it on 6-inch lifts and on 44-inch tires. So it presents as a beast. It's got a great road presence. So it's not just a Ford. Ford created the F-250 and then sent it to Tuscany. Tuscany created a Black Ops version of the truck. And that's what you see before you today. Some people absolutely hate these things. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was the truck I wanted. This thing is a beast. Diesel twin turbo. I go anywhere in it. I tow anything with it. Let's see. I put the truck box in it. All my tools and stuff go in there. And then I tow quite a bit with it. So I put a Gen Y hitch on it. And that thing is a monster. No one ever rear ends me. So this thing has got pivoting hinges here. And you got to oil and grease them now and then. But this hinge actually takes a lot of that porpoise motion that trailers tend to give you. This deadens all that. So, and it's so powerful, the truck, it rarely feels like I'm towing, even when I'm towing my race cars. I've got a big 26-foot race trailer that I tow in. So let's see. I don't keep it overly clean, but it's nice. It's got a lot of auxiliary switches. Not sure what else to tell you about it. It's bigger than my first apartment, though, I'll tell you that. It's got nice running boards that present. Full quad, full back seat. Full sunroof. I leave it closed all the time so the sun doesn't fade out my interior. But a full leather interior. Just some nice customs. This is my IFAC, individual first aid kit. I get it from Refuge Medical. All my vehicles have one in there. I have my winter emergency kit that just lives in the truck right there. Guys, I don't know what else to show you. Don't know what else to tell you. But there's my truck in less than 5 minutes. I love this thing. I've had it 6 years. I'll probably have it forever. All right, guys. The other cool thing that happened just came in about a couple hours ago is I told you I bought an 1814 Bible. And I was a little worried that I was getting scammed, and I'm now convinced that I've not been scammed. So let me See how much I can get this to you. Have to be really careful. It's far more fragile, I guess, than I expected. I almost feel like it's a stupid sentence, but I will read it. But it does it definitely feels 200 years old. In fact, I'm going to take you guys. I'm going to turn you around and do this on the desk so it's easier on the Bible itself. All right, here it is laid out. Trying to be super careful. It's got a name that's obviously a modern tag, and it's got some pencil marks. So I'm still trying to figure this thing out. It's super fragile. It's got no records in it. It's got family records pages, but there's nothing written in. The only thing that looks like it could be pretty old is this name, Hannah something. Anyway, I'll do some more research. Anyway, here's what it looks like. And gosh, you guys are seeing this kind of with me for the first time. Except for this part, I looked this up. This certainly looks like it's 1814. It's got several prefaces. It looks totally readable. You can tell the preface is pretty long. So you see Old Introduction to the Old Testament and to the Book of Moses. And the first book of Moses called Genesis. How fun will this be to compare to a modern Bible? There's all sorts of reference notes. Literally on every page it looks like this with these reference notes. Anyway, it's not deteriorated. I mean, it's old, but it's totally readable. There's no missing pages as far as I can tell. Anyway, just thought that was kind of cool and I wanted to show it to you. And I guess that's it for the 1814 Bible for now. So guys, as always, the Maryland Meerschaum. It's actually starting to color up off the line. So I'm enjoying it. I'm only going to smoke another few days, right? It's Saturday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 4 more days. And then we'll set this one down and head out. So guys, for today, I went back. I left the big boy tobacco and I went back to Cowboy Coffee by the Country Squire. Tastes really good. It's a little bit sweeter than what I've been smoking. That dark flake unscented. But it tastes really good. I like this brand. I like this blend quite a bit. Thank you, Greg. Just a nice early Saturday afternoon smoke. Guys, I don't mean to turn this into the Bible channel, but I feel compelled to talk about some of my concerns, to ask some of my questions. I actually checked up with my wife a little bit and said, hey, I'm feeling this. I'm concerned about that. I'm confused about this. And she actually was like, holy crap. Those are amazing things. So I'm going to do it again on camera. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to state my concerns. I kind of need you to get in your defensive crouch. Get ready, because I think I'm going to offend you. I think we're going to do Spinal Tap Offendometer 11 today. I assure you that is not my intention, but I think some of you are going to be offended that I'm calling some things into question, at least in my own mind. I feel calm. I feel content. I feel good. It was fun to see the 1814 Bible come in. It was fun to do a little field trip around the truck. So I'm calm and I feel good. And so I'm going to try to make no declarative statements, no universal statements, but simply state some questions and confusion that I'm feeling after having read the Bible again today. But I have a feeling that there is going to cause concern out there. So just be ready. If you don't feel like being offended today, if you don't feel like dealing with tough questions about the Bible, just click off, and just don't aggravate yourself today. Okay, guys, we had some eye candy with the truck and some fun with that 1814 Bible. Kind of time to go to work. Let's get to some meat. So what follows is you see a man put on YouTube out in front of all of you my struggles to understand the Bible. I'm in no way saying what you believe is wrong or should change, because frankly, I don't know what you believe. So what I've tried to do is consolidate my concerns, my worries, my observations into 7 questions. And I'm going to break this, I think, up into 7 parts so we don't just turn into some marathon session here. I'm coming up on the end of my second bowl of cowboy coffee, so I'm nice and calm as I go into this. I'm pretty confident there's going to be a third bowl associated with this video. So what's the first question? I know you all just can't wait to hear what my struggles are. So my first one is, do we believe God cared at the level of detail shown in the Bible about the construction of the first church? And what makes me say that is found in Exodus chapters 25, 26, and 27. And what you see here is, as I read the Bible this time around, I highlight anything where it's God speaking. I mean, with the words, and Yah said to Moses, and then quotes. That's what's in here. So here starts 25, and it takes that. And then here's the rest of 25 and 26. And there's where 27 starts, and 27 over to 28. Guys, that's 3 chapters of construction details that I find hard to believe God cared at this level. I mean, he talks about how many rings each curtain should have, and what the rings should be made out of, and what the hooks that match up with those rings should be, and how tall the curtain should be, and how wide the curtain should be, and how many curtains should be made, and how the curtains should be attached to each other. I struggle with that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying God did not say these words. I'm just finding it awfully strange that the God that created everything cared this much, and we use this much of the Bible, 3 chapters completely dedicated to God speaking about the construction of the first church. I struggle with that. All right, so my second question is, do we believe God cared at the level of detail you find in the Bible about what the priests wear? And again, chapter 28, so Exodus chapter 28, all of this and some more, all the way to here, gives, excruciating detail about what kind of pants to wear, what kind of shirts to wear, what all the jewelry should be, what should be etched on each piece of jewelry, each stone, what each stone should be. Wow. Maybe the God that created everything in the heavens cared this much. I struggle with that. It feels like that's what we wanted it to be, so we wrote it this way. Question number 3. Do we believe that God had this much to say about leprosy? Just leprosy. Leviticus, I jumped books on you now, but Leviticus chapters 13 and 14. Again, I'm going to just show it to you. Look at this. 13. All the way through here, and then 14. Hard to do this backwards. But there's 14, and then all of 14. Pages. 13 and 14 take up 4 or 5 pages of the Bible, with the sole discussion being about leprosy and how we should protect people from men and women who have potentially have leprosy. And it instructs us to go to our priest to discuss whether we have leprosy or not, what his rulings are. I just find that strange. I find it strange that one disease was called out amongst all the others, because even in ancient times there was a lot more than leprosy going on. And then 15 is God's ruling about people who, I'll just read the first sentence. So chapter 15, Leviticus 15, and Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, when any man has a discharge from his flesh, his discharge is unclean, and this is his uncleanliness in regard to his discharge. And it goes on and on and on about how to take care of that man's bed and that man's chair. I struggle with it. God would give that much instruction about leprosy and oozing flesh wounds. All right, my question number 4 is, do we believe someone captured this level of detail? Most people can't remember 2 sentences. And to have this captured at this level of detail, this is God talking to one man or 2 men. Most of it's to Moses, and some of it's to Moses and Aaron. But we're talking 10, 15 pages of the Bible, and more than that, but just on the subjects I'm talking about. So the details of the church, the details of the priestly garments, and leprosy and infection is probably 15 pages of text. Page after page. This is 100% God quotes. Page after page after page of that. I just struggle that, was that captured at this level of detail directly from God's mouth to Moses' ears? Or was it kind of written later, captured at another time, because these things were important to the people writing? Question number 5. If we believe the Old Testament is the actual word of God instructing Moses on teaching us how to live our lives, then why do we ignore so much of the Old Testament? That could be pretty offensive. So let me give you some examples. So Exodus 35, verse 2. This is God talking. Work is done for 6 days, but on the 7th day it shall be set apart to you, a Sabbath, a rest to Yah. Work is done for 6 days, but on the 7th day it shall be set apart to you, a Sabbath of rest to Yah. Anyone doing work on it is put to death. Anyone doing work on it is put to death. So if you work on Saturday, if you believe Saturday is the Sabbath, or you do anything on Sunday, we should put you to death. I'm pretty sure we ignore that. I read a couple of these other examples before. So I'm in Exodus now, Exodus 21. I know I'm jumping all over, but I'm trying to keep it to 7 questions and not drag you back and forth. Actually read the Bible chronologically and try to make my points that way. I got messy last time. So here's another example. I'm now in Exodus 21, verse 14. But when a man acts presumptuously against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you are to take him even from my slaughter place to die. Verse 15, and he who strikes his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. 16, and he who kidnaps a man and sells him, or he is found in his hand, shall certainly be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And then Exodus chapter 21, verse 23, but if there is injury, then you shall give life for life. You shall give eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, lash for lash. Verse 29. However, if the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner has been warned, and he has not kept it confined so that it killed a man or a woman, the ox is stoned, and the owner is also put to death. I'm not going to drag you all over for this next one. So the other examples are Exodus chapter 12, verse 14 discusses we have to maintain the festival of Passah, or what we know as Passover. Chapter 23, verse 14 talks about we need to maintain the festival of Mazot. I probably said that horribly. Verse 16, festival of the harvest, or Shabbat. And then we go on, and the Bible talks about so many kinds of offerings: grain offering, guilt offering, peace offering, wave offering, ascending offering, sin offering, and yeah, I already said that. So anyway, it goes through and demands these things, that we maintain all these kinds of offerings to Yah. At many points in my reading through Exodus and Leviticus, many of these passages end with this sentence: a law forever to their generations. It doesn't sound like it's something that he intended. I know one of the arguments is, a lot of the Old Testament talks about, rules and laws that pertain to a certain time or a certain people. And it just causes me confusion when I read this sentence probably at least 10 times so far in these books. A law forever to their generations. That has occurred several times throughout my readings. All right, question number 6. If we believe we can pick and choose which books or which verses inside of which books that we believe we're going to follow and which ones we're going to pick and choose to not follow, who gets to do that picking and choosing? Do we do it as individuals? Does the priesthood do it? Does the Catholic Church do it? Who gets to pick and choose which part of the Bible doesn't apply anymore? Which parts we just should ignore and which parts we have to live by? I don't get that part yet. Last one, question number 7. If we believe the Old Testament is largely superseded by the New Testament, then why is the Old Testament still 80% of the Bible in today's modern Bible? The Bible has been reviewed so many times in fairly recent history. We'll go over that in a minute. And things have been taken out, left out, hidden, and Gnostic, apocryphal. So things have been taken out, and things have been knowingly left out. So it's not like we haven't done a content review. And so I just made, so from my understanding, the Bible is largely intact as we know it today. In about the year 320 AD or CE, whatever. I hate this BCE. I'm fine with BC and AD. But since 320 AD, so the core Bible is largely complete in 120 AD. And then the Catholic Church issued its biblical canon in 382 AD from its Council of Rome. And then the Hippo and Carthage councils convened from 393 to 419 to do another review. And then the Second Council of Trullan occurred in 692. The Canons of Florence were issued in 1442. The Council of Trent occurred in 1546. The Church of England issued theirs in 1563 after the review. The Westminster Confession of Faith was issued in 1647. And then the First Vatican Council occurred in 1870. So there's just nine that just came up. I mean, it's a blizzard of activity if you read the history of the Bible, but the contents of the Bible have been either reviewed or sanctified at least these 9 times and probably 50 others. But I know there's a lot of conversation, well, the Old Testament doesn't apply as much anymore because the New Testament may supersede it. And that confuses me because it still represents 80% of the Bible by content, by page count. And it's been left in time and time and time again since the time of Christ. That confuses me. I don't even know if there's anybody still watching this, but there's one man's struggle. You know, I'm not meant to judge or dictate or change anyone's opinions. I just, you know, as I read this as an older dude, I'll probably continue to ask questions. So I appreciate it if you made it this far. Hopefully I didn't blow anyone's up. Hopefully I didn't get anybody too offended. We'll see. And I don't really expect answers to these questions. They just they build up in me as I read it. And now 3 years in, you know, my 3rd time through, some of the questions even get more in me than they, you know, by reading it again and again, I'm not getting rid of some of these questions. And in fact, they're probably more profound in me today than they were two years ago when I started reading for the first time. So I realize there are doctorate programs on this stuff. Seminary is years of study about this stuff. There probably isn't a singular answer. And maybe we do have to, as part of our faith, our walk in Christ, maybe we have to answer these for ourselves. Guys, that's it. I'm done. I'm at 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure. I've assembled the rest of the video, so I know I'm getting long. It helps me to do these, you guys, to pull all this together, to take this sort of vague concern and sense of unsettlement, and actually write it down and crystallize it into my 7 questions and give specific examples of why these questions exist in me. It helps me. So maybe I'm just doing this to be as a cathartic exercise to get my own self straight. But I appreciate it. I love that I can put this stuff out there. You know, I can feel the keys being clicked as I speak. Thanks for putting up with me, and we will talk again tomorrow, you guys. Bye.